Hi, my name is Cynthia, and I wanted to tell you about the third leg of the Grand Slam, which was Leadville, Colorado. 100-mile race that happened about 2 weeks ago in August. As many of you all have been following me, many of you know that I actually didn't finish that race, but I felt like it was only fair to come and give you my report of it anyway. Leadville and I have a long history. It has been my Achilles heel, so this was the third time I've been to Leadville, and each year something different has happened. Leadville itself is a wonderful town, and what they do there is just a great thing, and it's brought a lot of money and awareness to the town by bringing the races to Leadville. It's a mountain town. It starts at about 10,000 feet above sea level. The race will eventually go up to close to 13,000 feet above sea level, and there are 14ers all around these mountains, and it's absolutely beautiful. And at one time, many, like the 1800s, it was a silver mining town that could have been populated with as many as 25 to 30,000 people, and at this point in time, there may be 2,000. So Leadville has seen a lot of growth and a lot of hard times over the many years. Well, in 2012 was my first experience in Leadville, and I had originally tried to get into Western States. I didn't get in, and my husband said, well, why don't you go to Leadville? So I signed up to go to Leadville, and I was really very excited. I knew nothing about it except that, it was really high elevation. But I trained, and I felt really well and strong, and the race being in August, in July, I fell and cut my leg. I think it was the beginning of July. And so anyway, the leg healed up, but my knee continued to swell, and I continued to have problems with my leg. And but the x-rays didn't show anything. I didn't know, the doctors told me it was just normal for that to happen. And so anyway, the trip being paid for, I went on to Leadville. When I got there, though, I would climb these mountains and my leg would continue to swell. So I would go down to Turquoise Lake, is this place that's close by, the campsite where I was, and the water was ice cold, and I would immerse in it in like an ice bath, and it was really nice, and it made my knee feel better. But it's still, I was spending my entire time thinking about how I'm actually going to do this. Well, the race started. I went ahead and started. I made it to mile 50, and I just couldn't go anymore. My leg I drugged the whole time, and I was very sick. Came home, found out that I had osteomyelitis, which was an infection in my bone, and ended up with surgery. So that was my first experience of Leadville. I must say, though, I still love the town and my entire experience there. Well, the next year, after the leg was healed up, I go back in 2013. I think, okay, I'm going to get revenge on this course. And everything seems fine. I had healed from the surgery from the year before. Everything was okay. And on my way to the pre-race meeting, I'm on this road, and there's gravel on the side. My tire of my car gets onto the gravel, and I start sliding down the mountain sideways. And luckily for me, there were 2 trees that caught the car from going completely down. I ended up hitting my chest on the steering wheel, and many things happened from that point. So the next day when I went ahead and started the race. I had no car, no way home, no way to do anything. My husband, Todd, was going to come pick me up the next day. I called him, and he was going to have to drive to Leadville and pick me up. So that point in time, I had a very difficult time breathing. I had injured my sternum, and every time I tried to take a drink, it would hurt really bad. And so I'm sure that I became very dehydrated, and the fact that I actually couldn't breathe very well, I struggled. And so my friend Alicia met me on that race, and we at mile 50, and we went on over and made it till mile 70, and then we went and got lost. And the whole time I was just very, very sick. So anyway, that was the end of that race. And so then comes the Grand Slam. I really felt like that I knew the course very well this time. Obviously, I've been over the entire course in Leadville. I went out about a week early. It's nicer to go out longer if you have the opportunity to, but if you have a job, it's not that easy really to spend weeks upon weeks acclimating to elevation. But I did go out a week early, and I climbed up Mount Albert, which is the highest mountain there. And I sat up on the top, and I felt like, the first day I tried climbing up there, I was breathing really heavy. The next day I went up, my breathing was better, and I could tell every day I felt better with the air. So I didn't really think that would be that big an issue. So anyway, the race starts. I feel fine, and knowing that I have 30 hours, and I really didn't care how long it took me, I just wanted to finish. I didn't really think that I wouldn't finish. This year I had no knee injuries, I had no chest injuries, no injuries at all, and I felt really good, and I know that my training had been strong. I felt fine. I think the beginning I did have some issues with, I don't know if maybe I got a little dehydrated. I'd come into the first aid station, and I went straight to the bathroom and got water, and I forgot to get food, and the aid stations in Leadville are about 10 miles apart, and some of them a little bit longer, so it's different than like Vermont or California, so your aid stations are much further apart. But I still had water, and of course you're climbing the mountains, and the hardest part about Leadville, obviously, I think, is the elevation. It's not always the climbing, it's just that you can't always breathe the higher that you get. But all in all, I still felt like I was okay. Most people have walking poles, so if you're thinking of doing Leadville, you may think about poles are acceptable there, and I've never ran with them nor had them, but everybody around me did, and I can see the advantage of having those to help yourself climb up these mountains because they're pretty steep. My pacer met me at mile 50, and we head on. Now at this point in time, I think I don't know, don't think I felt bad, but obviously I didn't feel my best because I was climbing a mountain, and I always know that when I get to the top, if I can actually just get to the top, I can run down and I would be okay. Well, then by the time I got to mile 70, my pace had slowed down quite a bit, and I knew inside I was struggling a little bit, and I ended up well, I could just tell that it was definitely going to be hard to go on, but at the same time I didn't feel like that I was at any point that I needed to quit. But when we sat down, I met my pacer and the people with me at mile 70. He thought that really I shouldn't go on, and like a red flag went off in my head, and I knew then, oh my God, this is not happening to me. And I got up because I knew immediately I had to go on, and I started towards my last climb, which would be the power line, and that's about mile 80, and you go up the power line, and once you get to the top of that, your last 15 miles or so, 20 miles of the course aren't nearly as difficult. And so it was a struggle to get up there, but I did, and I would just say, all in all, I think that I got to the top of that, and then I started going down, and I don't know if just so many things happened in my head. I think that I wasn't sure, I was struggling, and I felt as though my pacer wanted me to quit, and then I knew that we were close to the cutoff, and we got to the bottom of this thing, and bottom of the hill, and this girl passed out right in front of me, and so I hesitated and stopped. Luckily the ambulance came, and she was fine, but at that point in time, then my time ran out, and that was the end of the race for me. So I learned a lot from that. I left that race in pretty much a daze. Like I couldn't really even figure out exactly what happened. It could have been electrolytes. I felt off balance. There were all kinds of little issues, but a lot of it revealed to me. Sometimes when you fail, your weaknesses are revealed, and I think my major weakness in that race was not trusting myself. In the end, I could have made it. I let what other people say to me really tore me down in some ways, and I should have been strong enough to carry on. And so all in all, I would say it was a very good lesson for me to learn that I have to be stronger and speak up, let people know that I didn't care if I was the last person that finished. I just wanted to finish, and if I should have just gone on and finished it alone, or if I could have. And so, you know, I think in all failure there's something good that can be learned out of it if you sit and look at it. And, you know, I came home and I've had dreams and dreams and dreams about it. And you know, it took several days for it even to become kind of clear in my mind exactly what happened. But I think it was the mental breakdown of the many things that happened after mile 70 that led to me not finishing. And I also know that in order for me or anyone to, if you ever wanted to succeed in life, you have to believe in yourself and listen to yourself and do what you know that you can do. So I think that really someday I'll go back to Leadville just to finish the course, because I've attempted it and not done it, and it becomes the only race that I have not finished. So I'll have to do that at some point in time. And so anyway, if I ever do make it or the Grand Slam, I will be glad to tell you about all of it. And thanks for watching my journey, and I hope that I've helped you. Bye.